John Cena, James Gunn, and Peacemaker are back for a second season, this time in the shiny new shared universe. We got the first 5 episodes to review, and all the bawdy, lewd, blood-soaked, grief-stricken, trauma-infused F-bomb enthusiasts are back to what they were up to last we saw them. But is more of the same from the 11th Street Kids enough to carry Peacemaker through another season? I'm Clint Gage, and this is my spoiler-free review, Peacemaker Season 2, Episodes 1 through 5.
You met your own self from a parallel dimension? You're wearing his clothes?
You think I bought this? That's painful.
I do not mind saying, one of the most pure pieces of cinematic joy I've experienced in recent memory was the first time I saw the title sequence for Season 1 of Peacemaker. The character had already taken most of us by surprise with John Cena's comedy chops in Suicide Squad. He was an interesting pick for the star of a post-credit scene, let alone an entire spin-off series. From a scene-stealing towel rack in Amy Schumer's Trainwreck to headlining a second season as the title character of a superhero series, a stretch of only 10 years, by the way, Cena's Hollywood career has been a fascinating string of surprises. The guy knows what he's good at and how to play to his strengths. Meanwhile, James Gunn had been fired after 2 very good Guardians of the Galaxy movies and promptly took a job with the competition to sort of redo the nearly universally disliked first attempt at a Suicide Squad movie. There was very little way of knowing how any of this was going to pan out.
No one likes to show off.
Unless what they're showing off is dope as f***.
So, that was the world into which Peacemaker sprang. The world in which I felt pure joy to the strains of Do You Want to Taste It by Wigwam. The first season of Peacemaker was such a weird and fresh thing. It was very hard to have a bad time watching it. It's been equally hard to not be excited about Season 2. But the thing that's not fair to a follow-up of an Act 1 the audience might not have seen coming is that it's already lost the element of surprise. And that's the only real problem Peacemaker has in Season 2.
What?
It's not that big a deal.
Get the f out is not.
The first 5 episodes of the new season serve up more of the same raunchy blend of action and comedy you'd expect from Gunn and Peacemaker. The good news is, the same, in this instance, is a pretty high standard. Season 2 so far is very funny in moments, very gory in others, and crude the whole way through. Episode 1 in particular goes so far beyond gratuitous with one sequence that it lands in some other place altogether. Ludicrous, maybe? Farcical, I think, also works. I honestly thought it was a hallucination for a few scenes. But front and center through all of it is John Cena's incredible ability to give dumb, metalhead energy while also hinting at a vast depth of emotion and regret. It's really something. Christopher Smith is a guy capable of truly horrible things, but thanks to Gunn's writing and Cena's performance, he's a relatably tragic guy for whom you can't help but feel sorry.
Excuse me? You were talking about your butt and stuff? And also you said that I suck?
And that was established expertly in Season 1, with scenes like Peacemaker playing a piano ballad version of Motley Crue's Home Sweet Home. There's really no better way to boil down this character's inner turmoil in an interesting way on screen. And there's certainly not one thus far in Season 2, which leads me again to my only real quibble with these 5 episodes, and the bad news about more of the same.
What?
There's just not much in Season 2 so far, the title sequence, dance number included, that has impressed in quite the same way. And the second time you do anything, it's inherently less original. So it's not exactly fair to hold that against Season 2. In fact, one of the most impressive things about this first batch of episodes is, weirdly enough, how predictable it is. Season 2, in a move that should surprise nobody familiar with James Gunn's work, is thoroughly character-based. It's not a show that's overly concerned about where it's going, so much as where these characters have been, and being truthful to that. The arc of this season, all to do with the pocket universe closet in Chris's dad's house, and the opportunities it represents to explore other realities, is a story uniquely fitted to everything Chris went through in the first season. So after learning about the trauma that created him, his awful father and accidentally killing his own brother, in Season 2, we find Chris getting a chance to look at ways that all could have been different. How tempting is that for a guy trying to turn over a new leaf?
There's another dimension. It's exactly the same as ours,
But better. Best dimension ever.
Meanwhile, the central antagonistic force of the show comes in the form of Frank Grillo's Flagg Sr., now running Argus, and out very specifically to dish out some vengeance on the man who killed his son. But for Peacemaker, How can you possibly change your ways or get the people around you to appreciate how hard you're trying when some of those people are trying to kill you because of the things you've done that you're actively trying to change? It's a difficult target to hit, especially for a marksman as emotionally confused as Peacemaker. And if all that sounds familiar, and if you're sitting there going, well, yeah, good. That's because it's a storytelling playbook that's worth studying. Every movie and TV show should have a plot that challenges a clearly drawn protagonist. All of the 11th Street kids are also so well portrayed and familiar at this point, you can kind of see where things are going the whole time. And when they start down a certain path, we have a good idea where that path will lead. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. The negative way of looking at that would be they've telegraphed what's going to happen in the final 3 episodes. And honestly, that might be true. But if they're as well put together as the first 5, it won't matter. It's like seeing a friend repeat some bad decisions. Maybe you know how that story ends, but it doesn't make it any less tragic to watch. You're no less invested in the outcome. That's the kind of thing that Peacemaker achieves, and for a superhero spin-off series trading in blood, raunch, and profanity, that's a pretty incredible feat.
Chris, take something bad and make something good out of it.
But that's a whole lot of waxing poetic about the big picture of Peacemaker Season 2. And while I'm not going to get into spoilers here, I will say, even though a lot of things are working just as well as they did in the first season, there are some real flaws here beyond lacking the novelty of Season 1. The comedy is a little more hit and miss this time around. The highlights, I think, can be found in the 2 episodes directed by Greg Mottola, who's got directing stints on shows like Arrested Development and Dave on his resume, in addition to Superbad. The pace of the jokes, in particular the speed with which people react to a joke with another joke, really makes the comedy sing in ways the other episodes don't quite match. But there are a few running gags that also lose steam throughout the season, particularly with Freddie Stroma's Vigilante. He was a real highlight of the first season, and he doesn't have much to do yet in Season 2 outside of a runner about his obsession with animal facts that never quite does what I think it sets out to do. But I'm hopeful that the direction he's headed at the end of this batch of episodes is well paid off. The same is true with Tim Meadows' Agent Flurry. He's such a smooth and dry comedian, though, he kind of gets away with it. Flurry has the added benefit of mostly existing just for his absurdity, a characteristic in which he is not alone because Michael Rooker is also here. He plays yet another character in yet another James Gunn project, and he's just such a weird guy with an equally weird premise. I mean, he has a moment or two that lean more toward just bizarre than genuinely funny, but mostly it's strange because he very much exists in sort of a story vacuum. His deal is of the off-to-the-side weirdness variety, with no real impact on the story happening with the main characters, and it's not quite funny enough to justify the screen time. The other issue with Peacemaker, particularly in this post-Superman era of James Gunn's DCU, is what's canon and what's not. And Gunn has publicly said that they're going to deal with it somehow, and they do, but in an extremely simple way that is just as extremely unconcerned with drawing a hard line anywhere. But the approach that I've spent 1,000 words talking about here, making honest character-based choices, is the thing that also allows Gunn to just move forward with the stories he wants to tell. For all the issues that might have been caused by that Justice League cameo in Season 1, there is zero baggage so far in Season 2.
Welcome, Peacemaker, or do you prefer Chris?
Either's fine.
I am giving Peacemaker Season 2 an 8, at least for episodes 1 through 5. From what we've seen so far, this story of Christopher Smith and the 11th Street Kids is built around the truth of these characters. The way each of them handles the circumstances as they come up is as honest to who they are as it is riddled with creative profanity and soaked in comically drawn blood. While this season might not throw your hair back the way Season 1 did, these characters are still a blast to be around, even if it is a little more of the same. And unless something bizarre happens with the final chapters of Season 2, Peacemaker is shaping up to be another very successful entry in Gunn's new DCU.
You must be John.
Jesus.
You're not that dorky.
So, let me hear about how excited you are for Peacemaker Season 2, and for other DC stuff, check out our review of Superman, and anything else you might find after you subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch. That's a robotic way of saying the thing I usually say.